I think we're live. Let's do the intro. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, guys. Hey, we're live. Oh my gosh, guys, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. This is the 110 live stream. Thank you for being patient. My failure to launch. Cues are in here already. We're gonna go a little bit early. I know I said 110, but here we are. Nice to see you, Cues. I'm all alone. Bravo's not here, and everything falls apart as usual. Oh, here we go. All right. How's everybody doing? It's Wednesday, middle of the week, 110. We're doing a live stream. So what happens is, guys, I stream everything through a software program called OBS, which is a real popular streaming and video recording, whatever application. I have to link that to YouTube, and so I have to go to YouTube and set up a live stream, but then for some reason I have to go to OBS and it's like manage broadcast, and what happened today was it didn't activate, so I said, I clicked go live, and it wasn't, nothing happened, so I clicked go live again, and it stopped. So then I went to YouTube and I saw that it had ended, right? So I apologize for that, but thanks for bearing with my technical learning curve here. But hey, so we're gonna get into some stuff. You know, as many people as want to join here, and I guess what I do need to do real quick is I need to retweet the new and the real 110 link on YouTube or on Twitter just in case. So let me do that really quick. And over here, I'll take this over here, so bear with me real quick, guys. But we're gonna get into some stuff today. I think that's pretty cool. Let's see, let me retweet this. That's it. Cool. Hope you guys are doing good. Love the book. You know, it's open source stuff. It's pretty neat. You can do a lot with it. I can make little videos, and it's pretty cool. So, hope you can hear me. I think you can. Got my mic going. I see the audio here. Looks good on my end. Let's look at, like we always do, we start with equities because what I'm looking at is a macro picture on sort of risk on, risk off. So let's start with equities, and then we'll look at Bitcoin. I want to show you a couple things on some bigger picture macro stuff that you may or may not have seen before. And then we want to cover what OBV is. And then also let's do our Dow Jones fractal in real time so that y'all can see how I've done it in the past. So cool. All right, 4 people in here. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. I am learning. I know it's once a week and I keep messing it up one way or the other. This time I clicked a button twice and then it auto stopped and auto suspended the whole thing. So just fired up a new one. Let's look at equities real quick. S&P, this is the daily. And again, we look at equities, in my opinion, because they are entirely correlated. And it is a good proxy for what's going on with crypto. Right, so this is S&P. We are just sideways ranging. Today is a really small bar day. Not much movement. Try to trade it on futures. It's been really challenging. I could show you guys some stuff, and we will in a second. But again, we are basically inside our FIB channel, our FIB network here. Kissed off the 618 twice, got rejected back to the 236, bounced off 236. Guys, I've never heard or seen as much fear and panic on social media as I had on the bottom here at the 236. And but we've since bounced. We're inside. This is this is an interesting bar. There's no wick on the bottom. It's straight up only, and then it had a teeny little wick on the top. You can see it, but there's a name for this, and I posted in the Telegram. But it's interesting. It has happened a few other times. Look at this bar. This is on equities on December 27th, for S&P. Absolutely no wick at all. The opening price and the closing price. The opening price was the absolute low of the day. The closing price was the absolute high of the day. You don't see that often. You know, that's a bar with no wick. And we had one pretty close to that yesterday. And so I pointed that out. But again, it looks like a hammer, I guess a hammer candle here. I'm not a real candlestick guy. I don't really, I mean, like I can spot like, you know, wicks on the bottom, or basically where bulls tried to take it, or where bears tried to take it, bulls regained and pushed it back up, that sort of thing, right? So when you're looking at a candle, it can tell you, you know, throughout this candle in the time period, you know, kind of what happened, or who had control and then who ultimately prevailed, that sort of thing. So like for this candle right here, all this action on the wick, you know, bears sold off, took control. Bulls regained control at some point in this candle and brought it all the way back up here. And it actually closed above the open to make a green candle. So a sign of strength, right? Massive wicks on bottoms, big wicks on tops are kind of what you look for. Kind of a rejection of the trend, if you will. But real quick, just super slow time frame. Oh, man. So guys, I was long, right? I had my stop down here and I just heard on my laptop that I got filled on a stop. I was trailing I had a trail stop here. I got taken out and then look at that. So I think we were waiting for FOMC minutes. I think so. That's at 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern. So they must have just released the FOMC minutes. But this range was tough. I'll be honest. This is after open, right? So here's open. And after open, we fell off this kind of like this ledge. If you look at the even the lower time frame, we fell down here, but then we see how we built strength on RSI as we were so RSI. I would say the slope of the RSI was higher than the price slope. You know, which is an interesting thing to think about when you have, you know, slope divergence or whatever. Sometimes it's called hidden divergence, but anyways. We won't get into that today, but see how, you know, we were climbing and RSI was building, but then we just fell off this support ledge right here. All right, so like all that price action, boom, bulls took it, dropped it, but we didn't even go lower than this candle body, which was interesting at 44.28. So, you know, just watching that, and then I was long again on strength on RSI on a signal here, and looks like I got wicked out at my stop. So that's just what happens, you know, when you're day trading or whatever, doing low time frame stuff. So that's that. That's S&P. Again, we are in the fib channel, trying to make a move one way or the other. I think longer term we are going to blow off markets. That's my thesis. That's my theory. We don't have to. We're going to do the Dow Jones fractal here in a little bit, but my expectation is for this is a consolidation. We've seen it before. Consolidation. My expectation is we resolve this and then we fly. So let's look at Bitcoin. I know that's what we're here for. That's the relative strength. So when I look at, you know, relative Bitcoin versus equity markets, you know, again, we did have a move up off the bottom here, but now we are just, you know, we're kind of consolidating. I did a little bit of a red or down push, and now it's kind of bounced up, but that's it. But Bitcoin is up with equities. So not surprising one bit, right? Let's go to, we just looked at the 5. Let's look at the 5 minute here too, because we looked at the 5 minute on equities and see that push right there. Same thing. So like, guys, they're so correlated, right? It's crazy, but you know what's good. And man, I'll be doing backflips if that SHIB fractal works out. That I sent you guys that video yesterday. But if we get a SHIB pop, like say tonight, it would be just awesome. Or in the next few days, right? So what I'm looking at, and I know I'm kind of all over the place here, but you know, what I'm looking at is this bull flag area to resolve. Interesting though, this one kind of had a sideways out. If you look at, I knew the way I drew it in that video was a little differently, but that's again, that's kind of a problem with trend lines, is that you sort of break it, but you don't actually, you know, start really climbing. So is it this? Could we possibly repeat kind of one of these, where we climb out and then go a little bit sideways and then finally resolve up. You know, it's possible. We can climb up, go sideways, and then finally resolve up. Either way, you know, it would be exciting for us to get up here. And you know, my targets from the group, I have just use a fib on the macro, so I do fib from here to here, from top here to bottom. So what I'm looking at is, see, like this was right here. This was obvious golden zone, and then, you know, levels for me, like I mentioned, I would sell all my SHIB at 10,000 today right now, and I'd never look back. I'd be happy. That would be a huge win, and I'd love to see that. So somewhere up in here, maybe we go to all-time highs again. If we do, obviously, if we do come out of this and then make a move like that. There are fib levels up here though. That's where I get my 8, 9, 10, 12 right here, 14, 15, 16 up at 3618, and then 19.5 at the 4236. That's where that 20,000 or 0.0002 comes into play. Is from the 4236 off the grand cycle. It's not magic, guys. Just fibs. That's all it is. Let's see. What else? So that was a little bit of SHIB. We did some Bitcoin. Let's go back to Bitcoin because I want to. I had it. Let's see. This is my green. This is my green. Okay. Let's cover on balance volume. Okay. So on balance volume is a technical trading momentum indicator, and it uses volume flow to predict changes in stock or asset price, right? Stock, you know, it was built for stocks, but we use it in crypto to basically, it's basically an accounting ledger or a running tally, if you will, of total volume. So how it's calculated is, well, first, OBV is a technical indicator of momentum, right? So it uses volume changes to make an analysis or an assessment of conditions, right? So OBV shows crowd sentiment that can predict, or that can be used to predict a bullish or bearish outcome. And that's kind of what it's used for. When you compare the relative action between price and OBV, you can generate more actionable signals than some of the green or red volume histograms, right? So OBV is a momentum indicator. A lot of it is, in my opinion, is very similar to RSI. RSI is a momentum indicator of recent price action, and then the OBV is total score. But the score can go up or down, right? So it's not like strokes in golf or basketball score. It's a number and a level that can rise and fall. So how it's calculated, OBV is, you take the previous OBV, so you start with a number somehow. You know, I don't know where it starts, at 0, right? So it would start at 0, but then as you get volume, incrementally, let's say like day 0, 0, day 1 would be any volume number, and if it's green, it's added to, and if it's red, it's subtracted. So as you go through time, you add to and subtract to your OBV number based on red volume, that would be subtraction, or based on green volume, which would be addition, right? So, you know, what you can see is, and the reason I like it is because it's a great trend indicator, momentum, obviously, but it's a great look at volume coming in and volume leaving an asset. So let's look at it on Bitcoin. This is the daily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my indicators, and I'm just going to type on balance, and I just do on B, and there it is, on balance volume. And I don't have, let's bring it up so you can see. This is OBV on top of RSI, but let's see what the settings are. I've never really done this before. So OBV is, it doesn't give you much. Oh, well, it's easy because so RSI, right? You get to select like how many bars back you want to look. And then now with the EMA overlay on top of RSI, you can choose kind of what your EMA style you want. You can apply a 20 on it or a 5 or whatever. You're able to change your moving average on top of your RSI. OBV is simple. It adds the amount of volume to the previous candle when it's green, and it subtracts to the OBV on from the previous number when it's red. So it's really simple. So this is, so how I would look at it is, let's look at these periods of time, right? So as Bitcoin price moved up from, this would be like the COVID crash or whatever in March of 2020. As we moved up here, that was a really low on OBV. So let's say that's the start of whatever. So all this climb, the OBV increased by, and I'm just going to unhide the volume here, by every green candle, that volume number of on this exchange, the volume of traded shares green are added to this OBV number for the next tick, and any red volume candle, it is subtracted from the previous OBV number. So red volume candles bring it down, green volume candles bring it up. What you can see is that you can kind of, and what we've seen is that you can apply, you know, support resistance or trend lines to an OBV so that you can see breaks and breakdowns. How would I look at this time period? So obviously this up to this point right here, this was all moving up what I would call on higher average volume, right? So like if your OBV is coming up, this is all moving up, and you've been increasing on higher volume. What's neat about OBV that RSI doesn't do for you is OBV is this cumulative effect of OBV shows you kind of the major trend direction, right? So while RSI will chop on you, see, like we had, like for example, July 2020, we had a high RSI of 89, and then we fell down to below the 35 or down to 27. So RSI can get choppy on you. You know, OBV, it's more of a trend, and you see volume, green volume candles accumulating, you know, and see like this volume right here, how it came up, and then it kicked your OBV way up. So then you can look at relative sell-offs too. So what this kind of tells you is how strong of a move it is, right? So a pullback on little or no volume, say it'll have red candles, right? But if it's a low red candle, then it's not going to impact your OBV much. So that's why, like for example, if I were to try to apply some levels in here, like for me, that break in OBV is pretty significant, right? So we had this level of OBV, and then a break of that level is significant. And then you go to here and you have another kind of like level, and right, this is daily too. So that's April 24th through May. It's almost a month. So for almost a month, you held this support as a level. You didn't have a lot of, like, we had price action going up, but look, the candles weren't big enough to really change the net effect of OBV. Isn't that interesting? Everybody says yes. Hold on. I have a partner here. Phil, is it interesting? Yes. Phil's back. Phil is with us today, guys. I'd have somebody. I can't just do this alone, right? Just kidding. We're doing this together. But anyways, this OBV platform, or whatever you want to call it. So when we broke that, right, that is a big drop. Obviously, yeah, you can spot that on volume, right? But OBV tells the story too. It's a moving average. It's a cumulative number, but it acts like a moving average. So when you break down, yeah, that's significant. Like that break is significant. Conversely, on the way up, when you break up, it's also significant. And so you can draw levels too. So it really helps you understand kind of the strength of a move, and also tells you if an asset's being accumulated or distributed. let's see, I'm just checking my notes here. The theory behind OBV is based on the distinction between smart money, namely institutions, and less sophisticated retail, as mutual funds and pension funds begin. So you can see like smart money and retail money, yeah, maybe. But oh, this is another point. It's good. The actual individual quantitative value of OBV is not really relevant, right? So it's not like, oh, RSI, you know, like these numbers are like, I use 60 and 40 sometimes, or 60 and 65 and 35 mostly, but sometimes I'll use 60 and 40. But you know, that is the number or the value of the RSI matters. In OBV, it doesn't, right? So it's more of you're looking at trend and you're looking at trending conditions and changes in your trend. So how I would look at this, and we're going to get into this because I want to show you guys a couple other indicators that that I haven't shared with before. But this, I'm looking for trend, right? So, okay, if I were just to do this, you know, and I would just, you know, plot this, I'd say, okay, the trend on OBV is up, right? How strong is this move look? You can see the volume is not crazy. Like this whole move up from July last year to a 69K was on pretty mild volume. We didn't have a volume ramp, right? But OBV trended up. So if I were to kind of moving average this OBV, I would say like, okay, let's do that. Seems fair, right? Okay. So my OBV trend is up. Obviously price is number one indicator. A lot of people use volume as too, but I don't know. Price is always obviously the number one indicator. But again, throughout this period, OBV was up. And then we broke this. So you could do a couple things here. One is you could look at this trend from here and you can wait until you break it right here, right? See it break that trend. But again, where did that happen? Right here. Look, you know, my RSI system, right? Break, right there at the same time. So in addition to breaking, when I go back in time, kind of do a look back, in addition to breaking RSI, in addition to breaking price trend, OBV trend broke too. Just another indicator, right? Okay, so that was on the top side, and that signal came in around 62K. The next one, and let's look at this because it's interesting. If I draw my downtrend line here on price, and then also let's draw a trend line on OBV, because you guys know that when we did break up, and let's zoom in here a little bit, but see this price. So RSI broke up right here early. We didn't get a price breakup, so I had an unconfirmed buy signal here, right? So, but OBV trend broke up too. So again, it is probably a real time, or nothing's really forward looking, but you know, this trend break in OBV was pretty significant, I would say. And you know, same with RSI. So if I was to draw RSI trend here, something like that. Now we had some chop around it, right? That was here. But then in this candle, when we popped, that was really the signal, right? Don't forget, I was thinking a good chance we put in a double bottom. This candle surprised a lot of people. It popped above the line, and then we've been kind of ranging upwards and sideways a little bit. But since, let's back to OBV. Now we're on an uptrend, right? So we have started a new trend. Let's just kind of trend it there, whatever. We're kind of a moving average, but we're up, and that would be I don't know, maybe angles matter, but a 29-degree angle, right? So off bottom, you know, we're up on OBV. The OBV slope is good to see. That means that there's a lot more buy volume candles than sell volume candles, and that number is higher on average. So, you know, that's a good indicator on kind of more of a macro trend. And I think you can use OBV down to the lower time frames. You know, I don't use OBV much, but I do look at it for trend. You know, it helps with trends. But I think also, you know, trends, so trend lines, work with trends. RSI helps on strength of moves. So my way is to use RSI as the confirming signal. But when you have, you know, it's honestly, it's probably more confirmation, right? So this OBV break and price break and RSI break would confirm that you are more than likely changing your trend. So look at this break. We broke out on this candle, right? But this OBV trend happened before that. And that's what you guys always hear me say a lot is RSI precedes, because I see it just way too often. RSI, like, look, RSI broke. Let's clear this real quick. And I'm going to take this MA off too, because I don't know about MAs on RSI, but it's cool, I guess. But do you guys see that we had a slope change from down to up? And if I were to apply this on the top side of this new OBV trend, now you're not going to know this at this time. All you're going to know is that you, on right here, popped above this line that you've been held under for a long time. The other thing you're not going to know is you're not going to know whether this is a peekaboo, kind of a peek out and then a failed, a fall back, or if it's going to hold. So what you need to do is have a system of confirmation where you have, okay, like on January 28th, okay guys, we're seeing an OBV cross above trend line. We are not seeing price break above the trend line yet, but OBV is telling us that we might be changing trend. Also, on RSI, you have, you do have a break up, but you do get a lot of breaks up above 35, right? So it's not the strongest thing in the world, but I use it as another confirmation that, okay, RSI is up from the bottom, OBV is up from the bottom, OBV has now broken trend, RSI broke trend a couple days after OBV, and then RSI fell back, moved back up. It was a little bit of a head fake with RSI. That was interesting. So I guess in this case, when you go back and review it, OBV didn't really change. It didn't really give you a different signal. See how RSI dropped? And I hope this makes sense to you guys. But I'm just kind of going off the cuff here, but see how RSI dropped below the line? So then you're thinking, was this a fake out? Well, OBV held its trend. So, it's just one more tool in the tool belt, and you can use a lot of indicators to try to understand or ascertain trend and that sort of thing. But I think OBV is a very good tool in the toolbox, especially when you're looking at the macro, right? So because it does the accounting for you on volume candles, and you can really tell like kind of who's in control, right? So pretty cool. What else do I have on OBV? Okay, the limitations. OBV it's a leading indicator, and it may produce kind of predictions like we just looked at, right? So it popped out, and so it did kind of predict that maybe price was going to pop out. But the signals, it's kind of weak. It's prone to false signals. And I would say RSI also is prone to false signals, right? Because you can break trend, but then you don't get confirmation on price. And so, it's a tool in the toolbox. It says, or I wrote down, you can add a moving average line to the OBV to look for OBV line breakouts. And you can confirm a breakout in the price if the OBV indicator makes a concurrent breakout. So for whatever that's worth. Another note of caution with OBV is that a large spike in volume on a single day can throw off the indicator for quite a while. So if you get, a massive spike that's, out there on the distribution of spikes, right? So it's like statistically out there. It's not the average, it's way above or below average. It can throw off your reading for a while, and then you kind of have to revert back to the mean. So once you get these, these readings, then you can look at these areas. But I just showed you that, basically like this was a tell, right? When we fell off this ledge here on high volume, that was a massive signal right there. And surprise earnings. Let's see. The spike in volume may not be indicative of a trend. that was another point on OBV. So just like any other indicator, guys, it has limitations and it has its advantages. But that's kind of my overview on OBV. But you know, it's a good tool. I do like it. That's what it is. That's what it kind of how it's measured, and what it tells you on you know, on trend, on understanding trend. Cool. So I'm gonna blast OBV, and let's see. I want to show you guys two things that I haven't shown you before. First, let's do a low time frame check on Bitcoin. See how we're doing. Man, look at that volume come in at. Like, that was like an hour ago. Or no, 45 minutes ago. Yeah, right there. But cool. So let's see this is the 5-minute chart. So basically what we had was we fell out of range, right? So at about early this morning, we had a little bit of a sell-off. But since, man, we're moving up. So I wonder if, you know, equities are moving up too. Not surprising. You know, it's interesting. What I'm watching on equities, anyways, is to break this level. And looks like we're doing a retest. That'd be I mean, like, I want to wait for a signal, but you know, that's a nice. I like that. So, anyways, we're not here to talk about equities, but let me get back to Bitcoin here. So, yeah, low time frame. I like this, man. If this can keep going. Let's look at a couple indicators, and then we'll go back to, I'll remap kind of what I'm thinking as far as the near term, and some ideas for how we may move in the next, say, 30 to 45 days or so. At least how I'm thinking about it. And if you guys have watched videos from yesterday or day before, you know, I've already mapped this out, but we'll do it, and then we'll use the more current data to kind of fill in any gaps we have. So interesting, right? Look at that. This is the 1 hour chart. We fell out. It's kind of a fake out. Fell off 40, call it 44. We lost 44. We came back, found some support here at 43.4, and now we're bouncing. Boy, I hope this can go. I really do. I want to see what shit I would love. I don't know why. I know why, but to get a SHIB pump. Maybe we can get it on today on the live stream. If we can break, see, I have my alert for the trend line. If we can break this, I think it's gonna get good, guys. Let's go, SHIB. Okay, let's go back to what I want to show you. Two things. And I don't need RSI for this. So when you're in the moving average world, one of the things that you look at as an indicator is a moving average cross. So when moving averages cross each other, that also can signal a trend direction change, right? So again, everything we're looking at, you know, RSI, trend lines, OBV, everything is basically trying to indicate to us when trends change. And that's why, like, when I trade low time frame day trade stuff, I'm looking at trend changes because I want to identify a trend change so I can participate in the trend change, right? So, you know, that's what I was doing this morning, was trying to participate in what I thought was a trend change. You know, it got pretty shaky on me and looks like I got stopped out, but that's what happens all the time. You know, like, you place your stop at a certain level, the market reacts in one way, then moves the other, and sometimes your stop's just right there behind you. So it's part of the deal, guys. But back to moving averages. I'll take volume off. When you have a moving average cross, it can be an indication that trends are changing. So what I want to do is I'm going to add. Now I already have a moving average there, so all I need to do is add exponential. So I'm going to add moving average exponential. So I've got that. So what I want to show you, there's two kind of, you hear it a lot with traders. So we have the 200 MA, the 200 daily moving average here. And I'm going to change this to 50. So we're going to look at the 50-day DMA, daily moving average. Let's put the 50 in kind of this bar blue and then do the number 3. Okay. So that's the 50 MA. Okay, it's important. It's one of the king MAs. 20, 50, 100, 200. 50 is used a lot. And then on EMA, there are 2 levels. So one is the EMA 8 and one is the EMA 34. There's also the EMA 21, but we don't have to get into that too much. Okay. And we're going to change our EMA to 34. And then again, this is on daily. So we're going to change this to white and do the third one. Okay. What I want to show you guys is, let me unhide my 50. There it is. Okay. Okay. What we're looking for, and we're going to look back in time, but we are looking for where the faster EMA or MA, either one, the lower number, the faster crosses above the slower. Right. So EMA 34 looks back exponentially. It takes an exponential weighting of the past 34 candles and gives you that number. And we don't have to get into exponential weighting, but basically what it does, if you think about like stack up your last 34 candles, say the price close, and it gives exponentially higher weighting towards the more recent than the first. A straight MA takes the straight average of all, say 50. And we don't have to get into today why we use 50 and 34 or whatever. But I'm just telling you that a lot of traders do this, and you can adjust these numbers. Basically, as long as you're consistent in your review, then it should hold. So we're going to put vertical lines on time frames where the EMA 34 crossed above the 50. Okay, so we got a cross right here, right? That's one. Let's zoom in. Is it a cross? Do we have a candle close? Is it confirmed? Yeah, it looks like it started crossing on yesterday's candle, and so we're crossed. Now, can this change? I mean, we haven't closed yet, so they can move a little bit, but let's just say, okay, that's a cross. Okay, where did we cross before? And this is, guys, this is kind of what I do most of the time, is just you apply these things and you go back and you look at your chart and you say, hey, when did this happen before? What did it look like? What were the conditions? And what happened afterwards? Right, so last time the white crossed above blue, nope, not there. White crossed down below blue. So that's actually a bearish signal. So when I have the slower, the faster crossing below the slower, that indicates it could be a trend reversal. So here we go. This right here was when white crossed above blue. And where else do we have it? Right here. White crossed above blue. And where else do we have it? Not here. Nope. See, look at that. White crossed down below blue. And white crossed down below blue here. What I could do. Let's do that. It's fun. Really fun, right? So fun, guys. So much fun. What's fun is SHIB is 10,000. SHIB at 10,000. Or just SHIB breaking out of the bull flag. I'll take either one. Let's get some fun. But this time, I promise, guys, we're not just cheering it on and riding it all the way down. What's fun is locking in gains. That's what's fun. So what I did was, anytime the white crossed above blue, I'm going to do a green vertical line, signaling green. That means a bullish reversal, is likely. And we had white crossing above blue way back here. If you go back to that, this is the one day, back in October 2020. So look at that. When white crossed above blue in October 2020, it stayed crossed until April. So what is that? 6 months maybe or so. So we are going to looking at the EMA crossing underneath the 50. We're going to put those in red lines, right? So we had one there that didn't cross. I'm not going to call that a cross. There's a cross right here. And let's see, where else do we cross? Right here. So it almost, like when you zoom out, guys, when you look at the stuff, you're like, okay, We got a green. It's a bullish cross. Price goes up. And it doesn't nail the absolute top or bottom. A lot of signals and indicators don't do that. Even my system. You know, you have to wait for confirmation of something. I mean, you can project on fib levels to get targets and such. You're like, hey, based on my fibs, like we did on SHIB earlier, and hey, I'm looking at these levels, and if we can tag like the 4236, that's like, you know, I'm out at that point. But these are indicators of trend, and so it takes data, right? It takes data past the top to confirm that you've actually changed trend. Okay, so back to this. First one in our scope of look, and we're going back to at least 2020. That's a bullish cross. You go up till you get a bearish cross. Now look, price goes down, you get a bullish cross, you go back up, you get a bearish cross. See how this lagged a little bit? So it didn't really catch. It caught about half this drop, if you will. But then again, you didn't get the bullish until here. So basically, from this bearish signal to the bullish signal, actually, like, it would kind of throw you. But anyways, my point is, like, yes, we crossed, we continued down, we did find support, bounce back up. EMAs and MAs lag price, right? So then you get your cross, which confirms the trend, you're up. And then down from the 69K top back to like this. This is really, look at this cross at 61K right here. Like, again, we looked at OBV, we looked at RSI, looked at my signals. They were all showing short at 60.61. It's like, that's it, right? Like, this is showing short. This came back, 702 kiss, rejection of death, it fell down. This came back, you had RSI break, OBV break, price break, you know, EMA, MA cross. That's it. Like, you have all of that compounding into telling you, like, guys, the trend is changing. And that's, you know, in my world, a signal occurred here based on price break and RSI break. But also you had MA cross telling you also the trend was changing. The good news for us is we looked at a lot of things on, you know, whether it's our fractal pattern or whatever, but here at 33K, we did find support, we bounced up, and we broke that trend line, and then now we're seeing a cross. So in the last year and a half or so, every time you get a cross, you get bullish price action, right? So thought you guys would like that. EMA 34 crossing the MA 50. You guys can do that on your charts. It's a good look, and it's nice to see. And also, it's a kind of a macro trend look, right? So, what's the difference between SMA and EMA? Okay, SMA is either smooth or simple. So, let's just take 50. The MA is the number MA of the moving average is the actual average of the prior, let's call it MA 50, the prior 50 candle closes, which takes the average of the last 50. The exponential is a weighted average, actually not like a linear weighted average. It's an exponential weighted average. So the more near-term candles are exponentially weighted higher than the older candles. It's just a little bit of a tweak on how to look at it. It gives more weight to the current price action than it does to previous, is really all it is. I can do cross, I can show you cross work with, you know, the EMA 8's and also a very popular one for a little bit lower time frames, or kind of a zoom in. You can do like, what is the death cross? Is it the 20 and is it the 50 and the 200 is the death cross? But those are both moving averages traditionally. So I'm just showing you EMA versus MA because this is what is more commonly done. The EMA 34 crossing the MA 50 is a common look for signals for trends. So that's why I was showing you that. Back here, what's interesting is see like these crosses like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back here we didn't have much, right? Back in 2017, we had, and again this is daily, but let's zoom in here. We had basically one cross after these two lobes. We crossed and then we peaked out, and then we had a cross right here. This was our classic 702 retrace off the top, back to this first dip, back up to 702 of the correction right here, kissed, rejected, done, bear market. And look, you get a lot of these faults. Look, this is a fake out breakout, right? Faults. Nope. Down, 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 down. You got to break down in here somewhere. You got a separation of the two, and now you're trending again. Faults breakout, came back down. Finally, when you finally broke it once again, then you're able to move up. So that is that's the look at the EMA 34 crossing the MA 50 from both a trend change direction in the positive direction and also in the negative direction. The other thing I haven't mentioned to you guys is a look at, I'm going to delete this and take my MAs off, but is a look at the MACD. If you're familiar with MACD, what the MACD stands for is it's the moving average convergence and divergence. So I'm not a MACD expert. I did dig into it a little bit, but I'm not really a MACD guy. But I can look at it and I can tell you what it's telling us. The MACD is, and I'm gonna see if we can get it here. It's another momentum indicator. I'm pretty sure it's moving average, right? So we looked at RSI, OBV, MAs. They're all kind of moving average indicators, and what they all do, they all point to trend changes, where you have moving average, crossover, or OBV breaks, OBV slopes, that sort of thing. These all signal to certain things. So what I do is, when I look at I look at a few of these to try to get conversions. And so when I get a few of these things that line up, it becomes a stronger signal for like trend direction and change. So what do we have going on? And what I want to show you is, this is obviously the daily on the daily chart, but I wanted to point out one look again, and this is on the 3-day. So what it does is, now every candle is 3 days worth of candle, 3 days worth of trading. It basically allows you to kind of zoom out bigger picture and just look at, more time, but it slows down the chart a little bit in my mind. But what I look at is these crosses. So on MACD, what I'm looking at in the histogram is, this would be like bears in control, and then from the top here, moving up and down the histogram, but up in space here, this is kind of bulls taking control here, and then bulls flipping it to the top side, and your histogram is growing, and then your histogram is shrinking. Again, this is a momentum indicator, and but what you can see again on these cross lines is, when they cross, it's significant to trend change. So let's do that. So here on this cross right here, so these lines, I'm just gonna make these all white, but these lines right here, I believe, measure the values here. And so you can see, like, when they cross, obviously that points to 0 on the histogram line. When they cross, it's a 0 on the histogram line. And then this value, I believe, is the separation of the two lines. Again, I'm not a MACD expert, but it's pretty simple. So let's do that. So when they cross, I'm dropping a line. Okay, whoops. Right there, that's a cross. We do get a cross in here. We get another cross here. And a cross here. Pretty close. And then a cross. That's a cross here. And you have crosses here too. Let's do that. Honor that. Okay. And there's a cross here. And then I'd call that a cross. But really what you can see is, like, see this green growing, its separation of the two lines, and then see how the green is shrinking. Your separation between your lines is shrinking. And so when you go to 0 and you flip, say, from green to red, basically what you're doing is you're painting the distance between these two lines. And so when they come together, it's 0, there's nothing to paint. So when the blue goes below this orange, you get red. When blue goes above orange, you get green. And so it paints the relative gap of the indicator. So what did I paint, guys? So I have green on the histogram, right? Price is moving up. Now I cross over, I get a little bit of red. Well, price is cooling down. Obviously notice that this is, again, like a lot of, like most of these moving average or these momentum indicators, it is lagging a bit, right? Because what you need is you need a few candles of data to paint your moving average, right? So you need current candles to always be painting so that now your moving average, you know, behind you, you can see slope change and such. So there's, you know, price is the only real-time indicator, honestly. Moving averages don't do that. They don't provide real-time data. You only measure, like, that's why you look at slopes and such and trends to try to make projections. But so yeah, let's go back to here. We had a crossover here with a green, price is up, drops red, price is moving down, green, up again, red, although you did move up initially, top, drop, and then green, you're up again, red, down, green, up, red, down, and now green, up. So what I wanted to show you was, again, since this is Feb 6, so this was our breakout candle. So we had, so you broke out of this below this downtrend line. You had a breakout. You had, what do we have? Okay, price breaks line, RSI breaks trend, OBV breaks trend, 3-day MACD crosses and paints green on the histogram, and you have and now we have a 34 EMA crossing 50 MA. Like, it's what, 6 things? That's 6 boxes I'm checking that are like, okay, bulls are in control, right? So you check through all those, and again, we did the daily, and now this is the 3-day. You can zoom down on lower time frames for some of this stuff, right? So it's all about the aperture you want to look through to see, you know, kind of who's in control in what time period you're looking at. So again, you have a MACD cross painting green. The green candles on the histogram are growing, so it does show strengthening, in my opinion. RSI is up. We had a 34.50 cross. So to me, that confirms that this trend is real and we're moving up. So what's kind of exciting is to see all of that confirmation. We didn't get that back here, right? Like, this is our Christmas Eve to Christmas fake out breakout. We broke out below another steeper line, but didn't hold it. See, we did get a break, but you didn't have it. This is a 3-day, but you didn't have a MACD cross. You did have an RSI cut up here. It wasn't able to hold. It was on lower volume. So OBV, I don't think broke trend. So you start checking boxes on your indicators, and it can really help you understand how strong, strength of trend, how strong you are, how convinced I would say the bulls are in this move. So I want to show you that. So that was 3-day MACD. We did EMA cross. Now let's kind of zoom in and fill some gaps in on, I'm going to just blast all this stuff, but basically let's go back to, let's go to the 4-hour current Bitcoin chart. It is nice to see this. Now we're back in this kind of range from, we dropped and now we're balanced up. Guys, it is so impossibly hard to predict chop. Even up here, even when we're down here, it's like, I mean, look, 4-hour, right? And I mentioned this in some videos, but 4-hour RSI was strengthening. So let's kind of paint that here. 4-hour RSI was building. I'm going to make that green. And price was at best sideways, right? So you did have strength in your RSI. You made a bottom, you made a higher low, and RSI went up. This was confirmed with a break in trend. Now it did fall back, but I've told you guys a lot, and what I've seen a lot, even down to say 15-minute or whatever, is that when you get your first RSI break, a lot of times what I do look for, or what I anticipate, is I anticipate a higher low in RSI. So yeah, we got one here, not surprising, but we're going sideways. RSI told the story. Here I am, doing wave counts and looking at support resistance levels and everything else, and RSI was baking and was getting hot right under our nose, right? So that was the signal. However, I was doing an ABC, couldn't find, you know, we found a lower low on this level, but then what that means is that your ABC probably stopped here, right? But that's the thing with corrective waves and everything else, is that you can kind of get wrapped around the axle because you can always paint a bigger ABC, right? So when you think your ABC is over, and we've seen this a million times, we go back to even November, Bitcoin. Like there's an ABC, but then you do a bigger ABC. Like, well, when are we done? Well, we just looked at it, right? You're done when you break trend, when you start moving up, when you have OBV crosses, RSI crosses, MACD crosses, you have RSI crossovers, you know, so all those things, in my opinion, are much stronger than whatever Elliott wave ABC you're drawing, right? So that's why, I mean, I'll do waves and such, but I'm not, you know, I like fibs a lot more and RSI and maybe some moving average, but that's that. So anyways, that's the story on kind of what that was. You know, again, there we are moving up. But let's look at, and we'll take RSI off now, but so since I just bashed Elliott wave, let's draw some. Of course. First, for this look, I'm going to start big picture and then zoom in. So what I would do is, let's say this. Okay. First, on the macro sense, you either have to believe that 69K is the top or it's not. And actually, I did this in a video. You actually don't need to believe either. Hold on, guys. Sorry, real quick. Okay, sorry, guys. So like I said in the video earlier, maybe this week, I think it was, even if this is like my grand wave 3 and not 5, I believe that we're going to get a wave 1 up in the final grand wave 5 that would probably correlate or correspond to an ABC retrace if this is the top. So all that aside, that's in a separate video. But let's just, for the way I'm trading it, is I'm assuming 69K is the top, right? So what I am expecting is at some point, we've looked at a ton of equity, a ton of equity charts, and at some point, if this is the top, I am expecting a move from a bottom, which this checks a lot of boxes on being a bottom, and I'm expecting to move up to at least 618 to 702. Okay, that's my grand theory, is that we do get a move up here, and then I believe that if this is the top, then we go down, and it's bear market, and no one wants to be here to participate in that. So I will not be doing that. But again, if this is not the top, I think this would be a great place to be a 1 in the next series of the wave 5, so that you'd want to get out here anyways. Maybe if that holds or that's true, then maybe you just do that and then you keep going up. But we're not here to talk about that today. So let's just say we do get a retrace on the 618-702. What I'm expecting that to look like is an ABC. It's just classic charting, classic. So let's for now pretend that, let's draw it like this. The A comes up to the 0.5, the B comes down to the 236, and the C comes out to between the 618-702. I could go to either one, doesn't really matter. But guys, I have a guy here they're working on the water system. Man, I apologize. I need to go answer the door, but I'll be right back. So hang there in 5 minutes. Okay, we're good. And we're back. Thanks for waiting for me. I had to just take that real quick. So anyways, where were we? So on the macro sense, right? ABC back to maybe 618702. That's how I could see this playing out. You know, we studied a lot of charts that have this pattern. You know, this is very common for a bear market retrace. We're assuming we're in a bear market. But what I'm looking at and what I want to possibly trade is a run up on A. I got to set my phone back up. Sorry, guys. I had so many technical things today. A run up on A, and then a fall back on B. So I don't want to sit in that B, right? So what I want to do is I want to ride the A up and then B back. A up, sideline, take profit, whatever you want to call it, get out, wait for the B, and ride up to C. The thing about this is that we don't know how far B comes back, right? And so it can be muted. So in my world and what I'm preparing to do is I'm going to trade the chart. So I'm going to look for, like my signal system, lower time frame breaks and breaks, maybe 4 hour, right? So if we have the charts breaking down on 4 hour, that sort of thing, signaling a top, and we'll probably have other indicators along the way. But you know, that's what I'm planning to do. So let's look at that. So let's say that this does play out like this, and there's, you know, a million ways it can happen, whatever. But my current read of the market would be that this A has 5 waves. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think 5 comes up to here, and I'll explain why. There's some reasons why that makes sense to me. Okay, so you've seen the kind of the bigger picture fibs. I'm going to blast that. Okay, that's kind of our path. I put A at that fib level at the 0.5. Look at the confluence. What confluence is, it's kind of an area or a zone that things line up, right? So I could see us come back to 0.5, but also what I could see us is doing something like coming into the range of this support resistance. So here, so maybe we get a wick or something that, you know, we kind of stall out at the 0.5. Okay, makes sense to me, right? Let's do on this box. So this area here, see how 3 already came up and tried to get on the bottom side of this box and was rejected. And maybe you guys have seen volume profile. We won't get into it, but I bet there's a big volume profile in here. A lot of volume was traded in this box. So it's going to be hard to break into. So it got rejected off this level, not surprising one bit. You know, are we painting a head and shoulders? You know, we'll see. But let's just focus in on this 1 through 5. So what I would also do is, and I shared this with you, but let's do it here. So let's say 1 up was 19%, right? 2 up to 3, up to this bottom side of this box. 2 up to 3 was 26%. 4 to 5, now 4 to 5, you know, for symmetry, and the rules are that just 3 can't be the shortest, but we already have 19 and we have 26, so we're good. So honestly, 5 can be just a little bit higher, right? And still be valid, in my opinion, as far as I know, right? But let's say if we do come up to 5, look, you have 19 or 20, 26, and 25. It just makes sense. So that would be what I would say is, in my world, the most likely scenario is, you know, for, you know, this to play out. Now, what do I need to see to along the way to point to the fact that this is going to happen where it's not? So what I need to see is we need to see a high point above here to continue up. If we don't make it past this level, then something else is happening. We have talked about a possible throwback to this breakout line. So if we drew this line, whatever, like this, you know, and we also have that fractal. Don't forget, we have the fractal from 4 or 5 months that we have been following that had a pretty big dip here. Now, is that dip sort of matching with B, or is the dip going to happen right now? That's the thing. No one knows, and there's you know, there's no way to actually predict price, right? That's the thing. And again, guys, I know that everybody wants to find like whoever on YouTube is a good predictor, but I would just implore you to build the skills for your own analysis so that you're not putting your view of markets or charts in someone else's hands, so that you can listen to people, but you have your own assessment. That's what Jedi is all about. It's really like teaching people to read charts and then be able to do some work so that they can come up with their own assessment and their own read on on the future movement of the market, or the possible moves of the market, right? Trading is all about possibilities and probabilities, and there's no certainty. That's why we use charts and indicators, is to give us an edge, you know, to give us what we think is more likely than not to happen. So what I back to this is, so I showed you symmetry that would look, why it would make sense for an A leg to stop here at 51K. What I'm looking at this level would be breakdown in the Bitcoin price chart. I hope that we get some alt separation. Maybe we get some flyers, like if SHIB was a flyer in this time period up to, let's just say this happens, and this is like a week away. This is February 23rd. So, and then, oh, I need to show you guys on SHIB when it ran last time. It's kind of neat. And it kind of makes sense. And I'm not sure if I'm trying to paint why it should happen now, but and I'll show you when it happened last time. But before that, back to this. I always get deviated, sidetracked. But so you got the bigger ABC, you got 1 through 5. What I need to see in here for this to continue to move up is we need to break these fibs in this area, right? So we got rejected up to 702. This is the 4-hour, right? So from top to bottom, we're working back through climbing the fib ladder, right? Got rejected up to 702. Now we're coming back to see if we can break it. This isn't too concerning that we didn't get through the 702 the first run, right? Because we came up pretty heavy from 236. 236 to the 618, pretty heavy, 3 candles, stalled out at the 702, but we're rebuilding strength, and if we can climb through this, and if we can break 44.6, then 45, that'll be a really good sign. Then I look left and I see these candle bodies. You know, 45 will be a nice to clear that pivot level. So what do I need to see to kind of confirm that this is in play? Is I need to see us continue to move up, break 702, get above it, maybe test support, and continue to work our way up. Again, if this plays out in the way I drew it in its symmetry, really, it's you know, this whole thing could happen in a week. And again, I've mentioned this a few times. My dream scenario is where when we get up here, alts peel off and they start separating. And maybe that's you know, it doesn't have to be a peak and a fall. You know, it can stall. It can stall and chop. Bitcoin can chop sideways. So let's just paint a picture for where, you know, Bitcoin climbs up to 51K, alts go with it, alts start separating along the way, and then at the top, Bitcoin chops sideways, alts get a nice bounce. I don't think we get massive alt season and run to 4236 or any of that stuff, but I think we get a nice bounce, and then I think the market cools off in a B leg, because we'll have had 5 waves up. We'll have had, you know, a chart breakdown. Bitcoin's gone sideways a little bit. It starts breaking down. Alt separate. All the things will tell us, you know, what to expect. And then we cool off for a little period of time. And I think we get our C leg. The thing to me is, I'm not sure how long this lasts, right? So I'm not sure if this is, you know, like same angle, ABC up and then down, or maybe this is, you know, an extended C. So that's why for me it's important to be, you know, de-risking at this level. You know, and then if it goes up, then it goes up, and it's fine for me in my book. So we'll figure that out afterwards. But I did mention SHIB and where we were in the in that bull flag when we moved up and where Bitcoin was. So let's take a look at that. Let me switch this back to the daily chart on Bitcoin. And for SHIB, I'm going to, come on, SHIB. We're also going to go to the daily. I'm looking at this flag here, just, kind of a fractal or whatever from this flag. So let's look at, we have these dates. I was looking at this last night. SHIB started on October 4th. And it topped. Remember, when SHIB runs, it just goes straight up. And then either cools down or it falls. So I'm just expecting, if this happens, I'm expecting something like this to happen again. I'm not expecting something more of a 45-degree growth. I'm just, because we haven't seen it before. So I'm not expecting it differently. Okay, so we have the first kind of run up here was October 4th, stopped, it was 3 days to October 7th. The second one was October 23rd and stopped, and you can say this was higher. I think it was a higher wick. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit. So this is a 5-day period. So it started October 23rd, started October 4th. Okay, so where is this now? And actually, let's do this. Let's change this to top bottom. So I'm going to do that. And then for this one, we're going to pick up Bitcoin again. So let's do, okay, Bitcoin's daily and SHIB is daily. So when we had these runs, what was going on with Bitcoin? I'm going to show you guys. So in October 4th, it's right there. Okay. October 7th. Whoops. What did I do? October 7th. Right there. So SHIB popped first right here when Bitcoin's making a new high above 53. It's interesting. See, it wasn't, this was in the retrace. It wasn't, I mean, well, it made a new high, but it hadn't made a new high here. But SHIB popped right here. So it's just good to know. You need to know that. The first SHIB pop was right here on Bitcoin's push to all-time high. The second one, right? So see how my cursor already does it, but let me zoom in so you can see it better. The second one was October 23rd to October 28th. What was Bitcoin doing? Okay, so I painted the same lines on Bitcoin and SHIB, right? That's when SHIB popped. This is when SHIB's first run was right here. SHIB's second run was here. Okay. Why does this matter? Well, what was I thinking? It was in this final leg of this range that SHIB ran, and it just reminded me of if we get a final push up to a, say, 52K, 51K, it reminds me of this final push here. And I may be trying to make this all work because it would be sweet if we do. But when I saw this, I was like, well, that was right before that was after this topping period, right before the final thrust up, before the fall, was when SHIB finally popped. I wonder if yet again, once we get a kind of a final push up on Bitcoin here to its 51K level before a brief cool off period, if SHIB can run again. That's it. I'm getting a little hopium going, but maybe it works. We'll have to wait and see, and only time will tell. But let's go back to SHIB and see what's going on the low time frames. Last night was the 80% or 85% candle, so nice to see the 1 to 2 p.m. central candle here be 1.31%. If we can pop this line, guys, I think it could get good. But again, don't forget, last flag, we came out and, well, it depends on how you draw it, but we could come out and go sideways for a little bit. And then yes, we could always fall, right? But no. SHIB has a long history of making flags. Look. Okay. This is the 1 hour, right? but like, that's a flag. That's a flag. You know, so you come up and it flags at the top. Flag at the top, break out through the top, and you pop, and you pop. Again, flag at the top, you break through the top, and you run. This is a bigger flag at the top of this flagpole. You have a much bigger flag. You know, if we can pop, then I think there's a really good chance we run, which is exciting. And I think Akita goes with it too. So if I'm selling Jib, I'm selling Akita, probably. I'll be looking at the chart. And then we'll see what happens. Let's see. I think that was it. Let me check the Telegram, see if they... I guess the FOMC meeting was bullish, and we did see that in the S&P. Cool. That's exciting, man. What else? I guess I'm all alone in my live stream. I had to go answer the door and talk to a guy, but that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let's do I might just piddle around here for a little bit here, guys. But if you need to run, that's great. We'll catch you next time. But I might just look at charts and do some commentary. So if that's cool, I'll just keep it rolling. Dang it. I knew it. Look, guys. Okay, let me tell you my day. Okay. Caught this short. I was short. Nice gain. Then I rode this ledge up. I got long on a breakout here, right? I got long on the breakout. Breaks down. I got out. I didn't go short because I was long. And I just got stopped out, right? Because I had my stop up here. We broke this ledge. Got stopped out. Looking for direction. Now we're coming back again. I see RSI building again. I go long again. I was long somewhere in here. And on an RSI break, obviously thinking big picture, I'm thinking it, you know, like whatever. I'm also looking for my signals. And my stop was down here, like 5 points back. So I did hear it on the laptop too. It was like order filled. And I got stopped out. My stop got filled here. And I couldn't participate in this. That's 40. That's a 40-point run. That sucks. I mean, that's just the way it goes. But, you know, sitting in position, being right directionally, the stuff happens. You know, and I was, you know, all day, you know, it's like, we're chopping in a 5-point range. Like, come on. We got out of the range. Dang it. I was long on this build, thinking that we can move up. You know, I got stopped out right here on the break. And then it dropped. And then I'm like, okay, I'm long again. And then, wick, see you later. You're out. Pump 40 points. So, yeah, that would have been really nice. And let's zoom out. Let me show you guys something. Maybe not the 4 hour. I need the 1 hour. Because let me show you. Like, I drew this box. Like, right in here. Like, all this chop in here. Like, if we could get above this level, 4470, that would be nice and bullish. So, again, remember the double top here. That's 618, right? 618, 238. Is it 618, 238? 236. I always get that wrong. 618, 236. 236 kiss. Pop. And now, here we go. So if the FOMC meeting minutes, and I need to dig in and find out what all that's all about. But man, if that's bullish, then there's my case for blow off the markets, guys. Blow off the markets. Congress gets out. Usher in all the retail. Get everybody to FOMO back in again. Blow a top off. Bitcoin retraces. Maybe we get a wild alt season. I don't know. You know, I'd love it. Maybe SHIB goes to 10,000. And, you know, all that happens. But, you know, as traders and analysts, we trade the charts, right? So, you know, we trade setups and what it looks. And so if we get another big trend break or whatever, especially like on the A leg, and we look at some lower time frame stuff. So guys, this A leg is exhausted. I can see 5 waves here. All these indicators are why we should cool off. And don't worry, we'll be here together. We're looking at all this stuff 24 hours a day. So nothing's going to surprise us. But yeah, nice to see that things might start moving up again. Again, guys, I've never heard so much fear and panic on social media from right here. This was Valentine's Day. You know, it was mass hysteria. Oh, I sold all my portfolio. oh, we're going to zero. Let me show you all these charts why it's going to zero. And I'm like, guys, we just came back from 618 and kissed the 236. I'm like, I'm macro expecting a blow off, so I'm expecting now for us to move up. You know, I'm not surprised we bounced off this bottom, hit a 618, got rejected, couldn't break it again, double topish area, down off the 236. We're just playing ping pong in this fib channel, or the fib ladder, if you will. And so, you know, that's it. That's it. But if FOMC, I want to research that. I want to see what they said. You know, but doesn't matter really. So when you trade the charts, you don't need the news. Don't need the news. I mean, the charts fill it in for you, honestly. You know, you said, oh, look, like how many people in the world knew that we kissed the 236? No one. I mean, like, well, very small percent. Like, well, we touched the 236 and we're going to get a bounce. Or there's a likelihood that we do, right? Because that's a level. And sure enough, we did. And now we have to make it through these fibs, right? For us to continue up, just like I showed you guys in the Bitcoin consolidation low time frame. Guys, we have to climb this ladder. You can't stall out. You can get rejected. You have to keep going. So on back to Bitcoin real quick. We need to see a new high above 46, sorry. So we need to see a new high above 46. If we get rejected in here in the fibs, you know, it'll be something else. And maybe it's that longer term, follow the fractal, we get another dip. But for now, I'm leaning that we do go up here and we do clear this, more so than I'm leaning down, but for whatever that's worth, right? So we'll see. I don't know. Let's see. Let's check with Phil and see what he says. Phil, what do you say? Phil says, up, guys, we're going up. It's mortgage the house. We're going up. Thanks, Phil. Thanks for being with me, buddy, because I feel lonely. But hey, guys, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Please like the video. I forgot to say that. Please subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter. Send a DM. We can connect. And join our Telegram. It's a community of people learning to read charts and think for ourselves and become traders. So thanks for signing in to the live stream. Thanks for watching. Thanks for dealing with the technical challenges. I promise one day I'll be a seamless streamer. But that's it, guys. Enjoy your day. Tomorrow is skills day. I don't have any great ideas yet, but we'll come up with something good, you know, to continue to build our skills as analysts and traders. But enjoy it. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.